Today on the show, we have a full rundown of the 2021 Arizona Open. We talk with Western Outdoor News Tournament Director Billy Egan and speak with some of the event's biggest winners like Mike Williams.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm still in shock that I won this thing. It worked out. I guess when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
And runner-up Todd Kline.
If you got bit, it was the right ones. It was going to be a 3+, smallie.
But first, let me tell you about the current subscription special at Western Outdoor News. This is a deal that we have never done before. You get a free t-shirt with a 1-year subscription of Western Outdoor News. Go to wonews.com under subscription special, select what size t-shirt you would like, and you will get 1 year of Western Outdoor News for $39.95 plus that super cool blue and white Western Outdoor News t-shirt. All right, back to the show. So next up, I sit with Billy Egan, the tournament director for Western Outdoor News, to talk about the success of the 2021 Arizona Open.
It was great to kick off the 2021 season with such a monumentous event. Again, we broke the record last year with the largest turnout with our, I think, 173 boats last year, and beat that again. I like beating records. So anyways, we got 178 boats, which was great for a first event for the 2021 season. And kicking it off at Havasu in February is always, it's met with mixed emotions because February is not typically the best fishing at Lake Havasu, but that's one of the main reasons why we chose February. Is we didn't want it to be a slugfest. We wanted the cream to rise to the top, so to speak, and not everybody to be able to catch 5 fish the whole time. But
make them work for it. Right?
Make them work for it, yeah. And the true champion that wins is a true champion amongst 170 plus boaters, And then you have the AAA aspect to it also with the shared weight format that we do. But the event set up perfectly. Pre-fishing, the conditions were great. It was sunny, 70s. The water temperature hadn't quite reached any higher than 54, 52 was what we were seeing in the normal during pre-fish. Some areas were about 56 degrees, and once that water hits around 60, those fish really start moving up and thinking it's time to spawn. So
was that kind of the buzz coming out of pre-fish and practice?
We were looking for a warming trend, and the weather said it was going to warm up leading up to the tournament, and then during the tournament it was supposed to be warm, and then another weather pattern moved in, which kind of always changes the game plan for everybody, and the fish don't react the way people thought they would based on the weather patterns. But the first day of the event, it was bluebird skies, no wind. And, these guys on a lake like Havasu, they're looking for a little bit of wind because Havasu's used to weather conditions, and the fish aren't used to cloudy conditions. When it's cloudy out there, they don't know what to do because it's not very often. So the first 2 days, weather-wise, were perfect, and perfect for safety reasons because you weren't worried about boats coming into any weather issues or, some wind swells and things like that maybe some not so experienced boaters would run across. My tension was pretty low on that side of it, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now on the third day, we got a little wind, so we got some cloud cover. Obviously changed the game plan again for the guys, what they were targeting, how they were targeting the fish. Before the tournament, you heard how tough it is, and I actually went and did some pre-fishing before the tournament with a couple of the guys, and spent some time with Timmy Klinger, the U.S. Open champion from last year, on his beautiful Basscat Puma FTD that he won at the U.S. Open last year. And we fished all day long, and he caught one fish, and I never got a bite.
Oh, so you knew it was going to be a tough tournament.
Yeah, and then the very next day, I had the opportunity to fish with Josh Bertrand, who's an elite angler and grew up fishing won bass. And we went out, and Josh, being the type of person Josh is he gave me a bait with no hooks and said, we're going to go see where they're at. We actually got bites, but I never saw the fish. So, he was just looking through productive or non-productive areas trying to find where the bites might be.
Yeah.
Back to the event. Day one we had Joe Uribe bring in 20.44 pounds, which was the biggest bag of the event.
Wow.
On the first day. So that was kind of an indication that maybe the fish were there and that, you know, other anglers might do the same thing. And we had local Todd Kline have a nice, decent bag the first day. And young pro Parker Wright from Laguna Niguel area did really well the first day. And so did some of the other guys. But a lot of guys struggled.
Yeah.
We probably didn't weigh in about 50 of the boats on the first day.
Wow.
They just went out and blanked. And it may not be as high as 50, but it seemed like a good number of guys just didn't get them based on how the weigh-ins went that day. And, you know, Joe was feeling pretty good sitting in first place with that 20.44 pound lead. I think
could he keep the momentum?
Well, that's the deal. You know, 3-day events, you have to manage your fish well. You have to manage your spots well and your co-anglers well. Because being a shared weight format, the way we do it is no pro will fish with the same AAA twice. So it's something that was developed a long time ago with a shared weight format where the co-anglers, when you pair them with a pro that they don't know per se, and you don't let them fish with the same one twice, it's a lot harder to cheat with somebody you don't know than it is to cheat with somebody you do know. So typically, even though it's random, we try to, you know, randomize the pairings as much as possible. But that is also a benefit to the event because lifelong friendships are built from the shared weight format because you're not fishing against the guy in the back of the boat. You're working together as a team to catch the best 5 fish you can that day.
With somebody that you may not have known before the tournament.
Exactly. And then afterwards, you do, you know, most guys become lifelong friends after fishing together an event like ours. And there's a few guys that, you know, you meet every event. This is my first one. I'm so excited. And I said, well, it won't be your last because once you fish one, you'll always be back. And it's true. They can't wait for the next one, which is the case here. You know, so I just got home and the phone's been blowing up while I was gone. And now that I'm home, everybody wants to get into Clear Lake, which is right now theoretically sold out. But I've got to, you know, cross all the I's and cross the T's and figure out exactly where we're at. But you know, the event was great. Bass Cat Boats, Mercury Motors, our title sponsors, did an awesome job this year. The prize boat for this event was a Sabre FTD. It was supposed to be paired with a 150 Mercury, but their Mercury is working so hard to get all the motors they can out that the 150s are hard to get right now. So between Juan Bass, Western Outdoor News, Bass Cat Boats, and Mercury, they decided to upgrade the engine to a 175, which bumped up the value of that prize boat. So and that definitely worked in the favor of Mike Williams. I mean, he drove away with that thing at the end of the tournament, first place finish. Did you hear from Mike, and what did he have to say about his win? Well, Mike was somebody that we were watching, obviously being a 3-day event. He was coming in kind of consistent both first day and second day, not real big bags, but, you know, staying consistent. Todd Kline, local angler here, had a good bag on day 2 as well. And then, you know, it was really up to what it looked like 3 guys that could do it on day 3, and that was Mike Williams, who's the local there. He's been a fishing partner of Sean Bailey, last year's Arizona Open champion for many years. They know the lake real well. Yeah, let's actually just jump to a clip of Mike Williams talking about his win.
It was kind of hard to move around like I wanted to pre-fish with all the boats out there.
With 178 boats?
Yeah, not wanting to give anything up. So I had, you know, found fish in pre-practice like 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. And then I just kind of went ahead and figured them out during the tournament. Every day I caught them in different depths with different baits, different times of the day. I just kind of kept an open mind and just fished.
So tell us about day 1.
Day 1, I got a good boat number and I started on some schooling fish, and I just caught a couple nice ones though. First thing in the morning kind of got me going, and I went around and picked off smallmouth to fill out my limit, and then I culled later in the day with some good largemouth. The second day, yesterday, was really good. I really got them good, but I broke a couple off and lost a 6 to 7 pounder probably 10 feet from the net.
Which was probably rattling you a bit.
Yeah, it definitely at the time. It was kind of like I had a good day going and I was, you know, really happy, but then to have that happen.
So then today you start Today's tournament, what you were in, what position?
I started the day in second.
Second position.
Yep. And I went out and did actually the same thing I did yesterday morning. I caught a couple first thing cranking, and then I kind of just bounced around deep structures out in 20 to 30 feet all day long, and then I caught that big one. I think it was my third fish of the day. It was like a 5-something pounder, but that kind of settled me down to just take my time and pick everything apart, because I had to fish really slow out there that deep, kind of work my way around the structures and stuff like that. So
now that 3 days is over, you've been crowned the Arizona Open champion here, and you've won a Bass Cat Sabre FTD with a 175. It was supposed to be a 150, but they put a 175 on it, and 25,000 plus. How you feeling? I mean, people can't see the smile on your face right now.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I'm still in shock. I'm sure tomorrow when I wake up, or when it finally hits me that I won, I mean, I put so much work in out here over the last couple years, just trying to just figure this lake out for myself, just because I was tired of not really catching them good.
Yeah. So
it's worked out. I guess when it's your turn, it's your turn.
Well, you're hugging that trophy pretty awesome right now, and congratulations again.
I appreciate it, man. I'm speechless. It means everything to me to win this tournament.
All right, so it meant a lot to Mike Williams, but it also meant a lot to the local anglers in Lake Havasu. You mentioned Sean Bailey. So what's the relationship there?
Sean Bailey and Mike Williams were team partners for many years, and to be team partners on a lake like that, you have to trust in each other a lot, because information gets out, things get out. There's a lot of people watching you when you're on top. Mm-hmm. And Sean Bailey's obviously been on top for many years out there, being a guide and being a local guy. But, you've got Justin Kerr, you've got Roy Hawk, you got all these local sticks, and any one of them could have done it. But for Mike to come out on top this year was awesome. It was really cool to have Sean hand off the trophy from last year to this year to Mike Williams. Mike fished a great tournament. He just, stayed confident. He fished deeper structure where most of the other guys were fishing shallower type stuff. Todd Kline was fishing for smallmouth. The relationship between the locals and the non-locals is, a little weird dynamic. The guys the bulk of the guys that enter the tournament aren't local guys. And, they always wonder, okay, I want to come out and beat that local guy. And, Justin Kerr's won tons of money out there at that event, and he really struggled this year. Roy Hawk struggled, and he's an elite angler. So it can happen to the best of you.
So you mentioned Todd Kline. He may not be local to Lake Havasu, but he's local to the Western Outdoor News headquarters here in San Clemente. He had a really strong showing the first couple days. He definitely had a strong showing throughout the whole tournament. He finished second. What'd you hear from Todd?
Well, Todd, I've known Todd for many years, even before I worked here. I had run into him when I was living in Talega, because you don't see too many guys with bass boats in the San Clemente area. And before I ever started working here, I had met him and started fishing some Diamond Valley team stuff and night derbies. And so I've known Todd for a long time. He's obviously very well versed in speaking. He's been a professional surfer for many years, and he's a guide and quite the stick. I was really rooting for him to pull this one out, because it would be nice for a local guy here close to home to win it. He's been close a couple times. Mm-hmm. He's won some FLW events, but he's all around a great guy. He was targeting the smallmouth, and I know he was throwing, because he had mentioned Cool Bait's underspin was his game plan for the smallmouth, and if they weren't biting that, he was going to die by it.
Oh, yeah.
Sean and Justin are good buddies of mine that own Cool Baits, and it was pretty awesome to hear that that's what he was catching his fish on. Yeah,
he actually spoke with you at the tournament. We'll get to that clip in a second, but he ended up walking away with over $15,000 in cash, so it wasn't the worst finish for him. I mean, he definitely walked away with some cash in his pocket. So let's hear from Todd Kline.
This time of year out here at Lake Havasu, Billy, it's super tough to get bites, and in practice, I found a few different things. You told me I won practice, so I'm pretty stoked to actually back it up. But it's just tough to get 5 bites, and I was actually throwing a Cool Baits. Anybody that knows me, I throw that bait till the wheels fall off at a lot of different places, and I was stoked they were eating it. And if you got bit, it was the right ones. It was going to be a 3+, smallie. And so knowing that, I just did not put it down. And I threw it every day, all day. I started stressing a little bit today. I ran south to Bill Williams, threw a little square bill, caught a couple largies to put in the well, just to make sure I had 5. and then was on one of my spots where I was throwing the cool baits. They weren't eating it. It was glassy, and I knew they were out there, and I found those fish by throwing a glide bait. So I said, hold up, let me just try it. I tied it up. First cast, I'm like daydreaming, looking around, slow whining, and it just hammers it. I yelled net, and it was the biggest smallie that I got today. So
on which bait?
It's Tiny
bait?
Clash. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you know, a lot of guys, and don't get me wrong, it stings to get second, but at the same token, I didn't lose any fish. A couple of the days, I only had 5 bites, so I'm just stoked to be where I'm at. And the guys that live here, let alone everybody else that competes in this tournament, are unbelievable. So to finish up in second place, I'm stoked.
So second place finish, nothing to be ashamed of, especially you walk away with just over $15,000 for that finish. Next up, we spoke to Josh Bertrand. Tell me about your relationship with Josh.
Josh and I have known each other for, well, a little over 10 years now, because when I started in 2010, he was one of the guys that I met. He was just getting into the elites back then, and few years, I think it was 2 years after working here at Western Outdoor News in Juan Bass, Berkeley was putting on a El Salto trip for some of their new products, and so they wanted a representative to go down there and do some write-ups and so forth, and Josh happened to be at that same trip, and we spent 3 days fishing for giants and got to be really good buddies. But I wanted to get out on the water with him and do a little pre-fishing, really do, an interview with him and spend some time getting to see how he, as an elite angler, would approach the pre-fishing for this event and how he felt about 178 boat field at Havasu, which is, him being from Arizona, one of his backyard lakes. Not that he fishes it a ton, but, obviously, for being an elite angler, he's familiar with that. Like Roosevelt and other lakes closer to him are more in his backyard. But we had a good time. Being the consummate professional, he made sure that the baits we were throwing had no hooks on them because, he didn't want to burn any of his spots or any of his fish by hooking one that wouldn't bite during the tournament, which is very smart. Not a lot of guys do that. Yeah. A lot of guys will go out there and pre-fish and catch them and take pictures and not realize that fish is no longer catchable, and hope that there's more of the same fish around, and maybe it was the only one around. But it was good to get out there with him, to have him and Jared Littner and Roy Hawk and some of the other elite guys that took their time to come fish this event. It means a lot to Juan Bass and to all the anglers to be able to compete against guys like that also. It's pretty cool. Yeah. But for him to get a 4th place finish, made sense. He was consistent and quiet, and he walked with a little over $8,500 for his 4th place finish. Good travel money to kick off his season and
start the season.
Keep the wife happy at home and kids a couple gifts. But
awesome. So here's the conversation from when you guys were out on the water.
I'm happy. We just talked about it. It's just so beautiful out here right now, and a lot of the country's still dealing with snow and stuff like that. And I mean, hey, there was snow here last week. The whole Southwest got blasted with some rain and cold weather, but now it's like it's spring. I'm way overdressed and I'm burning up, but that's a good thing. Like spring's knocking on our door.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place. For some of our podcast listeners, Josh, why don't you tell a little bit about who you are and what you've done in the past few years?
Sure. So I'm out of basically Phoenix, Queen Creek, Arizona. I've been fishing WON Bass events. They were my first pro events when I was 18. Now I'm 32, and last 10 years or so I've been fishing full time professionally. Fished the Elite Series for 6 years. The last 3 years I've been fishing Major League Fishing, and that's where I'm currently at right now. So hitting every single one of the WON Bass events that I can when I'm home, and it's been cool because we haven't had really any scheduling conflicts for the U.S. Open the last couple years,
right.
And for this thing is last year I missed the AZ Open, but I'm stoked to be here this year.
Yeah, your schedule worked out for you to be here. We're stoked to have you. 178 boats. What do you think about the AZ Open in 3 years garnishing this many entries?
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day. The first one had 70-something boats, and man, you made just those couple key adjustments to it, and you just do what you always do, and just it's an event that everyone wants to be at. It's a great way to kick the year off, get into fishing shape, have some fun. Havasu's a super desirable place to come fish, right? I mean, you got the Phoenix crew that comes, the California crew, and people from even further. I mean, it's if you're from way up north and you're freezing, and you come down here and enjoy some good weather. And you know, the thing about the fishing this time of year is you're never going to come out and get 40 bites in a day, but the size that you catch will keep you coming back. And it's both smallmouth and largemouth. These fish are as big as they'll ever be because they're about to pop. They're about to spawn. They've been eating all winter, and they're set up and ready to go. So like, we're going to see, I wouldn't be shocked if we see a 8 or 10 pound largemouth this week and a legitimate 5 pound smallie. I'm positive we'll see one of those.
That would be awesome. Last year this time was a little tough. We were 1 week earlier last year, but the weather wasn't like this. There was a big cold snap last year. A lot of guys struggled at the event. What do you think it's going to take at this year's Arizona Open to win this thing?
Yeah, if you look at history, you know, in early February, like you know, I'd say more often than not, 17 or 18 pounds a day is enough to win. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I mean, if you just went off of practice, I think most folks would say yes. But we've got just like straight spring weather coming for a whole week. And the water's cold now, but even just being on the water the last couple of days, we've watched it climb and climb and climb. So I bet we see some big bags. I bet we see some big bags.
A week and a half ago, 22, 23 pound bag that won in, I think, a team tournament. Yeah, we're really looking forward to this. Our sponsors, Basket Boat, Mercury Motor, has been very supportive over the last few years. We love having them, and it's really helped us grow these events. I know you've got some, as soon as this one's over, you're basically hitting the road for your MLF stuff, and you're going to start out where?
So Red Crest is basically our championship that we qualified from last year. That's at Lake Palestine in Texas. So, yeah, we were joking today, you know, this place is Havasu, beautiful, clear water, open water. You know, it's hard to tear up your boat here. And Palestine is the opposite of that. It's like the most treacherous lake to navigate in the country.
Peel off your boat wrap?
Yeah, peel off the boat wrap, peel off your lower unit, man. I mean, it's and I've never been there, but just from what I've read and heard, it's the locals are saying they're going to bring popcorn and sit in their boats and watch the pros rip their lower units off. So
that's awesome.
We'll see. I'll enjoy my boat being intact for one more week before having to go back there.
So you feeling kind of relaxed that you made it in the cut for the sold-out Wombass US Open in October? I mean, we just sold it out. I know there's a lot of people stressing and worrying, but you had gotten your deposit in early. You looking forward to that event?
Yeah, seriously. It's amazing to see it sell out this early, but hey, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be in. I think 250 is a great number. It's a lot of boats, but a lot of boats makes big payouts, right? And and it brings a lot of excitement, and it makes the competition even that much more difficult. That's what we want. So yeah, I think it's great, man. I'm stoked. It's when we get to the summer and my season's like, even in the middle of my MLF season, I'm stoked to get to meet. And hey, that's going to be the toughest event of the year fishing wise, but for some reason, I think we all just love it.
Most favorite.
Yeah, literally is. It's unbelievable. You know, I'm fired up that first morning when I drive from Phoenix out to Lake Mead to start practice for the Open. I'm always fired up, and it's weird. Like, you'd think the amount of beatings Lake Mead has given us all, like, we would hate it, but we just love it, dude.
It's like this place in February. They're like, why do we want to go fish in February? It's cold, but it's Havasu. And like you said, you got a chance to catch some of those really big fish that are moving up.
Yeah.
Eating all winter long.
Looking forward into our Juan Bass season, what is the next event up on the slate for us?
The next event we have is the California Open at Clear Lake. I believe this is the 9th annual Cal Open at Clear Lake. It's scheduled for April 14th, 15th, and 16th. And April can be just an amazing time of year for Clear Lake. We've had it in April a few times. It's part of the points race. You know, the Arizona Open, California Open, and the U.S. Open are all part of a points race. At the end of the year, we'll crown a pro and co-angler of the year, which have prizes associated to that, and really looking forward to Clear Lake. Actually got some work to do, get ready for it. We've apparently sold out on pro spots and co-angler spots, and my phone's been buzzing ever since I left Havasu to find out, can I get in? How do I get in? Come on, Bill, see what you can do. And I literally even haven't had the time to look at it since I just got back. Mm-hmm. But in the next couple of days, I'll figure that out, and we'll let everybody know where we're at. The U.S. Open's in October, which is the last part of the points race. But our next big event coming up is the Family Fun Striper Derby out at Lake Havasu. Mm-hmm. This will be the 39th anniversary of the event. which had a pretty cool story last year because there's only one guy that's fished 38 events, and he was Angler 38 last year, and he ended up winning it in the 38th year.
Yeah, first time getting first, right?
It was first time getting first, yeah. He's fished it with, I think, 2 or 3 different kids of his and brothers and other people. And, you know, it's a family fun weekend at Lake Havasu. You know, teams of 2 can go out and fish for 10 striped bass, the biggest striped bass that they can get each day. We've got accumulative weight prizes, top 10 teams win prizes and sponsor stuff. We give away a Klamath boat and Suzuki motor package worth about $14,000 in a raffle. You don't even have to catch a fish to win that just by participating. There's big fish optionals and blind bogey money, and, you know, can't beat going to Havasu for a weekend.
Oh,
and
yeah.
most of the people that show up for that event, they love it. They're desert rats. And we get somewhere between 130 and 150 teams, and we're hoping it's going to be a big year. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. It's always a fun time at the Lake Havasu Striper Derby. Head over to wonews.com to sign up for it. We do still have some spots available, especially if you are in the Lake Havasu area. It's a good time down there.
You gonna weigh some fish next year?
Yeah, last year was not a great year for me.
But you had a great time, right?
But I had a great time, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Billy.